Hey guys, welcome back to Maisel G Realty. I'm Eric Sigismundi, your local real estate agent. Today I want to give you guys a quick educational lesson on what a CDD is. You heard me correct, CDD. If you've been out looking at any homes or drove past any neighborhoods or even been on some of the websites online, you've heard of HOAs, which we all know is a homeowners association. But what is a CDD? Did you ever ask anyone, or were they able to even describe to you what a CDD is? Well, let me break it down for you real quick. And how do I know? Because I personally served on a CDD as a board supervisor. CDD stands for Community Development District. I was on a board for 2 years as a board supervisor, helping to develop a community called Harmony on Lake Eloise, which is the same lake that Legoland is on, right across the way. So basically what happens is, it's a way that the government in the state of Florida has gone ahead and paired up with developers to develop land on a large scale, just a huge, almost like a village, so to speak, but some of the neighborhoods could be even a little smaller. So a developer doesn't have to come in with a significant amount of funds to start developing any land that they purchased in which they want to develop into housing. So if a developer were to come in and purchase a property and they wanted to have to they would spend millions and millions of dollars that they may not have to put in the infrastructure, roads, irrigation, potable water, sewer, streets, sidewalks, street lights, recreational facilities, pools, dog parks, etc. You get the point. So in order to get that money to help develop that land and not drive the prices up at the houses significant to recoup that money, what they do is they pair up with the local government. The way it works in the state of Florida and the way that the state legislators wanted it to work is basically the developer, once the board and everyone gets together, we go ahead and we talk with our engineers, we have the plans, we know what it's going to take, we have estimates, multiple estimates from multiple engineers who are going to go ahead and put in the roads, put in the sewer, what the total infrastructure is going to cost. And then we would go ahead, and it's done through like a lawsuit with the state of Florida. It's the way that Tallahassee wants it taken care of. And then they'll issue that money. In this particular case, we were going to go and ask for $86 million. Then what they do is they will issue bonds in that amount. So it's security bonds, which will help the developer. And in return, the developer, or the district, I should say, which will have one district manager running it at the helm of, or the bequest of, the board supervisors. And what they will do is they will levy a fee on each potential buyer's lot, anyone who's going to move into that development, for a period of 15 to 30 years, depending on what that board is requesting in that CDD. So it's a community development district, which has its own governing rules. Obviously not your city or statute. Florida statute would always supersede. However, they make up some of their own rules, or I should say vote on expenses and things of that nature in the community to help you get the amenities you otherwise would not have, such as, say, tennis courts and pools, clubhouses with bowling alleys and restaurants, things of that nature. So each year, that amount of money is now levied on your taxes. The way you pay it back is it'll be amortized over, say, 15 or 30 years, and it's going to be listed on your tax bill as a non-ad valorem tax. So that's the way that the state gets paid back. And you pay back the money that the state fronted the developer to build that community. So otherwise, you wouldn't have half the communities that are out there that have developers who have great products. They just don't have the deep pockets, and they don't have that blue chip Wall Street money behind them. So they would need some assistance. It's a great way that the state of Florida partnered with developers to help develop the state of Florida. So don't be scared when you go into a community and they say, we have a CDD fee. Great. What is that CDD fee? It could be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Remember, whatever that amount was that was issued in the bonds, whatever it took to develop that land will be divided by the number of homeowners in all those lots. So if somebody was in that home maybe 5 years or 10 years, they've already paid down almost a third, maybe even more, of the balance of that CDD that's owed to pay back the state for the infrastructure that was put into your community, that built your pools, built your tennis courts, basketball courts, dog parks, sidewalks, street lights, things of that nature. Now, there are times where you do get some buyers who will come in and buy a resale home, and they have pretty deep pockets. They've sold their home up north or somewhere in the country, and they say, I want to pay off that CDD fee total. I don't want that showing up on my tax roll along with my property taxes at the end of the year. Now remember, it's not going to be your regular tax assessment. It's going to be a separate non-ad valorem tax fee that you're going to be paid back. So the way that the state wanted it set up was that the money would be collected through the tax roll. Why? Well, we all know what happens if you don't pay your taxes. You lose your home. So we have to have somebody collecting that fee to pay back, because it wouldn't be fair to the other people in the state who don't live within your community to pay for you to have your street lights and your water, parks and your infrastructure, so to speak, or clubhouses, etc. So next time you're out and about with your agent and you're looking around at some real estate and they say, well, we have a CDD fee. Great. What is the balance of the CDD? Is it a brand new community? Is it brand new construction and it's going to be on your home, on your tax roll for the next 30 years or 15 years? What are the amenities that come with that CDD fee? Some of these developers have not gotten to the recreational portion of what they've already asked the state for, which was going to be included in the CDD fee. So you may get to a development where all you see are houses, and you go, wait a minute, there's a CDD fee in here for what? $2,300 a year? But there's nothing here. There's just houses and a few streets. Talk with the developer, because the chances are, not always, but there's a very high probability that the agent sitting in that model is not going to be able to tell you what the future plans are for that community development district. Now, those board members and board supervisors are sworn in by the state of Florida. We're a public official. We submit all our financial documents to the state, background checks, the whole nine, and we take our oath, and we serve on behalf of the state to oversee that community development district. Now, usually those positions on an initial community, they're appointed by the developer. In 6 years, it gets turned over to the homeowners. Once those homeowners take over, they'll have their own elections, and obviously you have to qualify. Once you do, you will submit. In our case, we have Lori Edwards here in Polk County as our supervisor of elections, and you'll have to comply. You'll have to send in your documents, financial documents, background check. You got to have a clean record, and then you can serve at the interest, because ultimately it's going to be you responsible to make the governing decisions within the district. Now, separate from an HOA. An HOA is homeowners association. Basically, those are going to govern you through bylaws for just your home, the property, the boundaries which you live, and kind of give you the rules and regulations of what you can and cannot do. Can't have a goat out in the backyard, can't have chickens, things of that nature. So there's a difference between an HOA fee and a CDD. You may find a community where they're advertising for an HOA that is super low. Maybe it's only $10 a month, $120 a year, and you say, that's great, wow, I love it. Ask more questions, because if you go to a clubhouse with an indoor pool, basketball courts, tennis courts, bowling alley, billiards, and your HOA is only $150 a year, I guarantee you there's another fee, and that fee is going to be a CDD fee. Again, what does CDD stand for? Community Development District. I hope this information helped you today, and if you have any other questions, or if you want to see some of those communities, feel free to hit me up. I'm going to put my number up here. I'll also put up some documentation on what the CDD is, and you can read through what some of those fees covered. Again, think infrastructure. What is infrastructure? How does the community operate? Is there a gate to get into the community? Is there, beautiful dog parks and gardens and clubhouses? So did that get covered under the HOA? Chances are it didn't. Again, no developer, well, I shouldn't say no developer, there are developers out there with very deep pockets that are traded on the NASDAQ and on the New York Stock Exchange, where they have huge amounts of reserves and capital to come in and just take care of it themselves. The infrastructure, they can drop 50 million, 60 million, 70, 86 million to build a neighborhood. But in most cases, the developers, they can't do it. Most developers need that help from the state and future landowners. So you have a stake in that neighborhood when you participate in the CDD, Community Development District area. So again, if you need more information, you can go ahead and comment, direct message me. I'll put my cell phone number up here. We're here to help you. All things real estate at Mazzell G Realty. And we're located in Central Florida. We serve from Orlando to the Gulf Coast, down to Sarasota, up to Spring Hill. So feel free at any time to give us a DM with any of your questions. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope this piece of information helps you. So have a good one, and until we see you next time, so long.